Continuing on, chapter 6, Genosis. There are two genealogies of the race, these are the genealogies of the race of Noah. Noah was a just man, complete in good works in his generation. In the fear of the Lord walked Noah. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Sham, and Japheth. Or Japheth, because there's no J in the Hebrew language.
Wait, but Daddy, you said Sham? Sham.
They spell it C-H-A-M in here, so I say sham instead of ham.
So, there's 3 of them?
Yeah, there's 3 sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Or Japheth. And I believe all of what we think of the races come from these 3, except for, the other line. And the earth was corrupt throughout the inhabitants thereof, who had declined from the ways of the righteous before the Lord. And the earth was filled with rapine, and that means violence and frauds.
What's frauds?
I believe it's talking about all the inbreds, all the offspring of the fallen angels. It said that they corrupted mankind, but they corrupted the beast as well. So they were genetically altering.
So could they mix like a human with the animal?
Yeah. They do it today, and they started doing it again. Well, the crazy thing is the Bible said that in the end would be like the times of Noah. And never in time, in history, besides this book, way back when Noah lived here, were there humans who are mixing the genome or changing genes. But now we're doing it again. And just like then, it was the humans, it was the food, it was the plants, it was the other animals. They were corrupting everything. That's why God had to make a new start, because it was also corrupted. And this corruption makes violence. Like, it does it to our body. Like, when we eat corrupted food, we get a corrupted result. And nowadays, people are getting cancer everywhere. There's destruction everywhere because people are eating things that weren't made from God. They've been genetically modified.
Like ice cream?
No, ice cream can be good. Ice cream can be bad, though. See, ice cream used to just be cream that was cold, that had like vanilla and a natural sugar in it. Now they got all these weird preservatives, all these chemicals, all this unnatural things that are in it. And so it can last for a long time. And so there's all kinds of ice creams that'll mess you up.
I want the ice cream that's just cream. I love cream.
Well, in heaven, it says it's going to be flowing with milk and honey. And so that's all you need to make ice cream. We just got to go to a cold place and mix it up. Maybe some vanilla bean. Whoa.
What?
Maybe some vanilla bean. And the Lord beheld the earth, and lo, it was corrupt, for all flesh had everyone corrupted his way upon the earth. So like I said, all the flesh was corrupted. It was not natural anymore. And people were corrupting themselves. They were changing themselves. And I mean, you could see people starting to do it now. Like, they don't think they're good enough, so now I need a tattoo so I can look cooler. And we all have these phones that are like an extension of us, right? And we use every day. And now they're talking about putting the phones inside of us, putting chips inside of our brain where we could connect to the internet in our mind.
What?
Yeah.
Is that really happening?
Mm-hmm. And so they could say that, like, you could start upgrading yourself. And imagine if they had an upgrade for humans where, hey, take this upgrade and you'll never get sick anymore. Just need to change your genetics. So I think that this is going to happen again. I think it's already happening. And the Lord said to Noah, the end of all flesh cometh before me, because the earth is filled with rapine, which is frauds and violence, by their evil works. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of wood of cedars, 150 cells shall thou make it to the ark in its left side, and 36 in its breadth. and 10 cabins in the midst to lay up in them provisions, and 5 repositories on the right, and 5 on the left. And thou shalt protect it within and without with pitch. Go thou to Phisum, and take from thence a precious stone, and fix it in the ark to illuminate you with the measure of a cubit or span. And shalt thou complete it above. And the door shalt thou set in the side of the ark, and with dwelling places inferior second and third. Thou shalt make it, and I, behold, I bring a flood of waters upon the earth to swallow up all flesh which hath in it the spirit of life from under the heaven. Whatever is upon earth shall be swept away, but I will establish my covenant with thee. And thou shalt go into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy wives of thy sons with thee. And of all that liveth, of all flesh, 2 of every kind shall go into the ark, to be preserved alive with thee. Male and female shall thou be. Of the fowl after its kind, Maggie, and all the cattle after its kind, and of every reptile of the earth after its kind, 2 of every sort shall enter to thee by the hand of the angel, who will take and cause them to enter to thee, to be preserved. So God had an angel, if this is not Jesus himself, to go gather the animals for Noah and bring them.
But it wasn't Jesus?
It could be Jesus. I think it's probably Jesus, but I don't know. And thou take to thee of all food that is eaten, and let it be to thee and to them for food. And Noah did according to all that the Lord had instructed him. And the Lord said to Noah, Enter thou and every one of thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of all clean cattle take thou 7 by 7, male and female, and all the cattle not clean 2, male and female. But of birds of heaven 7 by 7, male and female, to preserve them from seed upon the earth. For behold, I give you space of 7 days. If they will be converted, it shall be forgiven them. But if they will not be converted after a time of days, yet 7, I will cause rain to come down upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy all bodies of man and of beast upon the earth. And Noah did according to all the Lord had commanded, and Noah was the son of 600 years when the deluge of water was upon the earth. And so God gave them space to repent. So even in their wickedness and the treachery of the world, he sent out a message for people to repent, change their minds, their hearts from going against God to serving God, and they obviously didn't do it. And God is righteous in all his judgments. And Noah entered with his sons and his wife, and the wives of his sons with him, into the ark, from before the waters of the deluge, and all the cattle clean, and of the unclean, of birds, and whatever creepeth upon the earth, 2 and 2 they entered into Noah into the ark, male and female, and the Lord had instructed Noah. And it was at the time of 7 days after the conclusion of the mourning for Methuselah that the Lord beheld, and lo, the sons of men had not turned, and the waters of the deluge came down haughty from the heavens upon the earth. And the 600th year of the life of Noah, in the 2nd month, which was the month of Marshvan, is hitherto the months that had been numbered from Tershi, which was the beginning of the year at the completion of the world, and the 17th day of the month. In that day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the giants, see, there were a bunch of giants, and the giants were gathered there together with their sons, and perturbed them. And afterwards the windows of heaven were open. At this time, from like other historical documents, all these giants and all these hybrids, they were having a bunch of different wars, and there was huge civil wars, and they were all fighting and killing each other, and there's, a lot of cannibalism and a lot of crazy giants eating other people and stuff. It was just a terrible time. That's why God brought the flood. And the windows of heaven were open, and the rains came down upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In that same day entered Noah, Shem, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and the wife of Noah, and the 3 wives of his sons with him, onto the ark, they and every animal after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every reptile that creepeth upon the earth after its kind, and every fowl after the kind of every bird which flieth. And they entered to Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, which was in the breath of life. And they come entering male and female, and all the flesh unto them. And the Lord had instructed him. And the word of the Lord covered over the door of the ark upon the face thereof. The word of the Lord is Jesus. Remember at the beginning of John? God sent the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. And the word became flesh. And Jesus is the word of the God, or the word of the Lord. So Jesus covered the ark when Noah got in it. Not cool?
Mm-hmm. But Daddy.
Yep.
When they took every single animal, did they just take 2 dogs, or did they take 2 of every kind of dog?
Did they just take 2 what?
Dogs, you think? Or did you?
Well, they took 2 males and they took 2 females. They took 2 of each kind, male and female. 2 males, 2 females.
Oh, I thought it was just 2 of each kind.
No, 2 males, 2 females. But yeah, if you have like an original dog, all dogs could be born from it. Like it can have all the genes within itself to create all the dogs that you could think of. Like that cute one scratching your back. And they coming entered male and female of all flesh unto him, as the Lord had instructed him. And the word of the Lord covered the door of the ark upon the face thereof. And the word of the Lord was merciful upon him. And Jesus is merciful. And there was a flood 40 days upon the earth. And so don't let anybody tell you that the word of the Lord is the Bible. Because see, the word of the Lord put up a door and put tar on it. Okay? I love the scriptures. But a Bible's not going to walk, talk, and build a door. Okay? And the waters were multiplied and bare up the ark, and it was lifted off the earth. The waters finally flooded so much that all of a sudden the ark lifted from the ground and took off. And the waters waxed mighty and increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went up floating upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed greatly upon the earth, and all the high hills which were under the heaven were covered. 15 cubits higher did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh expired which moveth upon the earth, of fowl, and of cattle, and of wild beasts, and every moving thing that moveth upon the earth, and all the sons of men, everything in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all the dry ground died. And all the bodies of men and of beasts upon the face of the earth, from man to cattle, to creeping thing, to fowls which wingeth in the air of heaven, perished from the earth. And Noah only was left, and they who were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. So it kept getting higher and higher. The water kept getting higher and higher for 150 days. It's a long time. Maggie. Get in your cage. Get in your cage, Maggie. In your cage. Maggie's so old now, she doesn't know how to do it anymore. And the Lord, in his word, remembered Noah and all the animals and the cattle which were with him in the ark. And the Lord caused the wind of mercies to pass over the earth, and the waters were dried. And he remembered in his mercies the good one which was with Noah, and the Lord caused the winds of mercies. And the fountains of the deep were shut up, and the windows of heaven, and the rain was forbidden to descend from heaven. And the waters returned from being on the earth, going and returning, and the waters were minished at the end of 150 days. And the ark rested on the 7th month, which is the month of Nisan, in the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Cadron. And the name of one mountain is Gardiana. And the name of the other mountain is Armenia. And there was built on the city of Armenia in the land of the east. And the waters went and diminished until the 10th month, and the month of Tammuz. And Tammuz, in the first of the month, the head of the mountains were seen. So finally, a long, long time has passed, and they just seen like the tiny top of a mountain.
Probably like Mount Everest.
It could be, but they were over on that side of the world, so it could have been like the Himalayan mountains, since they're like the tallest mountains.
Wait, where was Noah?
Noah was like that side of the world,
What?
closer to the Middle East.
Everything in the Bible's over there. It's weird.
And yeah, it's a debate on where they landed. Different people believe different things. So that's another study for another time. But yeah, he landed on top of a mountain somewhere.
But Daddy,
Yeah.
why is everything in the Bible in like the Middle East?
Well, that's where we all started from after this flood happened. Like all people spread from the same place. You know, everybody re-inhabited the world from that central location.
So how did they get to like North America, South America?
Well, their dad, Noah, built a big boat, didn't he? So you think he was the only one who built the boat?
True. But then why aren't there writings about that so that then more people, like people who did it, who lived on the other side of the world, was just like, I don't like to say that.
I think the first boat that was made was the ark. Before that, it didn't flood. It didn't rain. It said a mist went over the planet to water everything. So it didn't rain. I think there was a lot more land. I think the whole earth was mostly land. But then there was rivers and there was lakes and seas and stuff. And after the flood, then the earth was mostly water. So there was a big change after the flood.
So I wonder if the earth was mostly land before.
That's what I'm saying. I believe it was. Mostly land. And I believe it will be again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When? Like when?
When Jesus comes back, he's going to change everything again. He's going to make it awesome again.
So,
I mean, we're going to live forever because the earth is going to be built awesome. The Lord says there will be rivers of milk and honey.
I want to swim in it.
We're going to swim in it and we're going to go come, 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 come.
Except I don't want to swim.
I don't want to swim in the honey.
Yeah, that would be sticky.
It would be not good. That'd be a sticky situation.
Then you would just have to go swim in the milk.
Yeah, let's continue reading. In the first of the month, the heads of the mountains were seen, and it was the end of 40 days. And Noah opened the aperture of the ark, which he had made. And he sent out a raven. And it was forth and going forth and returning until the waters had dried up from the earth. And he sent forth a house dove from being with him to see whether the waters were lightened from off the face of the earth. And the drove found no rest for the sole of the foot, and returned unto him in the ark. And he knew that the waters were yet upon the face of the earth. And he reached out his hand and took and brought her unto him under the ark, and he prolonged yet 7 days. And he began to number. And again he sent the dove from the ark, and drove, and the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a leaf of olive gathered, broken off, she brought in her mouth, and which she had taken from the mount of Mashiach. And Noah understood that the waters had lightened up from being on the earth, and he prolonged yet 7 days, and added to send forth the dove, but she added not to return to him again. And it was in the 601st year in Tishri, the first of the month, and the beginning of the year, that the waters were dried up upon the earth, and Noah removed and covered of the ark, and saw the faces of the ground to be dried. And in the month of Marcus ran, and the 20th and 7th day of the month, the earth was dried. So it seemed like at least a whole year before it was like getting anywhere to some normalcy. This was not like some small flood.
But Daddy,
Yeah.
do you think before the flood, do you think animals... This is like the stupidest question ever. But could animals talk? Because it said before the Tower of Babel, everyone spoke the same language.
Yeah, every person.
Okay.
Animals don't have souls like us. But when Jesus comes back, animals won't be corrupted anymore. It says the lion will eat straw like the ox.
That just is crazy to think about.
So we'll be able to hang out with a big old lion. He ain't going to try to bite us. Like, nothing's going to be violent. Nothing's going to be cruel. There will be no sense of death around. There'll be no sense of something's going to attack me. You know, everything that will exist will be good. Like, God saw it before it all got corrupted.
You can literally hold a diamondback rattlesnake.
Yeah, if there's diamondback rattlesnakes, you'll be able to giggle and, like, you know, put them on your head like a hat. They won't mess with you. So it'll be completely different. And we'll be able to commune with God and His creation in a way that's awesome. I don't know. I'm not sure if we'll be able to speak to them. Or we'll understand when they speak to us, rather. But I know that they will obey us as their authority.
The animals?
Mm-hmm. And the Lord spake with Noah, saying, Go forth from the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons, and the wife of thy sons with thee. Every living animal is with thee, of all flesh and fowl, of cattle, and of every reptile that creepeth on the earth. Bring forth with thee, that they may produce in the earth, and spread abroad, and multiply on the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife's sons with him, every animal, every reptile, every bird which moveth on the earth, according to its seed, went forth from the ark. And Noah built the altar before the Lord, that altar which Adam had built in the time when he was cast forth from the Garden of Eden, and had offered an oblation upon it. And upon it had Cain and Abel offered their oblations. But when the waters of deluge descended, it was destroyed, and Noah rebuilt it. And he took of all the clean cattle and of all the clean fowls, and sacrificed upon the altar. And the Lord accepted his oblation with favor. And the Lord said unto his word, I will not add again to curse the earth on the account of sin of the children of men. For the imagination of the heart of man is evil from his youth. Neither will I add to destroy whatever liveth, as I have done, until all days of the earth, sowing in the season of Tishri, and harvest in the season of Nisan, and coldness in the season of Tebeth, and warmth in the season of Tammuz. The summer and the winter and days and nights shall not fail, until all the days of the earth, from now showing and reaping, and cold and heat, and days and nights shall not cease. And the Lord blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, Spread forth and multiply, and replenish the earth, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, on every fowl of the heaven, of all that the earth swarmeth forth, and all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing which liveth to you shall be for food. As the green herb have I given to you the whole. But flesh which is torn of a living beast, what time the life is in it, or that is torn from the slaughtered animal, before all the breath has gone forth, you shall not eat. We're not supposed to eat animals while they're alive or raw, or animals that have already been ripped up by another animal.
Yeah.
But the blood of your lives but the blood of your lives I will require of every animal which has killed a man. I will require that it be put to death on his account, and from the hand of the human being, from which the hand of the man who has shed the blood of his brother, will I require the life of man. Who sheddeth the blood of a man, the judges by witnesses shall condemn him unto death, but he who sheddeth it without witnesses, the Lord of the world will bring punishment on him in the day of the great judgment. Because in the image of the Lord he made man, and you spread yourselves abroad and multiply, and bring forth in the earth and increase in it.
What does that mean?
That means that anybody who kills somebody, they should be killed. And anybody who kills somebody and nobody sees it, the Lord will bring justice. The Lord will make sure that...
But, like, not if you're in a war.
No. This word kill would be translated murder.
Yeah, like for President Trump killing the guy in Iran.
Yeah. And David slew Goliath, but he's not in trouble for it.
Yeah.
But if you kill somebody without cause, then yeah, required.
Like if someone walks in here with a gun and says, I'm gonna kill you all.
I'll take him out.
Then we have a right to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. And the Lord spake to Noah and his sons with him, saying, Behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your children after you, and with every living soul that is with you, of birds and of cattle, and of every beast of the earth that is with you, of all that go forth from the ark, every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, and will not again cause all flesh to perish by the waters of the flood, and there shall not again be a flood to destroy man. And the Lord said, This is a sign of the covenant which I established between my word, that's Jesus, and between you and every living soul that is with you unto the generations of this world. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a token of the covenant between my word and the earth. And it shall be that when I spread forth my glorious cloud over the earth, the bow shall be seen in the day, while the sun is not sunken in a cloud, and I will remember my covenant, which is between my word and between you. And every living soul of all flesh, that there shall not be the waters of a flood to destroy all flesh. So the rainbow is a promise that God's not going to destroy everything with a flood again.
Well, he's going to destroy it with fire. I wonder what will be the promise then.
Like, I don't know. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it to remember the everlasting covenant between the word of the Lord and every living soul of all flesh that is upon the earth. And the Lord said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I have covenanted between my word and between the word of all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Shem, and Japheth. And Ham, the father of Kenan, spelled with a Kenan. These are the three sons of Noah, and from them were spread abroad to dwell in all the earth. And Noah began to be a man working in the earth. And Noah began to be a righteous man, and he planted a vineyard. And he found a vine which the river had brought away from the Garden of Eden. And he planted it in a vineyard. And it flourished in the day, and its grapes became ripe. And he pressed them out, and he drank of the wine, and was drunken. And he made himself naked in the midst of the tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, beheld the nakedness of his father, and showed to his brothers without. And Shem and Japheth took a mantle, and bare it upon the shoulders of each, and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were turned black, and the nakedness of their father did they not behold. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew by the relation of a dream what had been done to him by Ham his son, who was inferior in worth, on the account that he had not begotten a fourth son. And he said, accursed is Canaan, who is his fourth son. A serving servant shall he be to his brother. And he said, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, whose work is righteous. And therefore shall Canaan be the servant unto him. The Lord shall beautify the borders of Japheth, and his sons shall be proselyte and dwell in the schools of Shem. And Canaan shall be a servant to them. And Noah lived after the deluge 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So there's a lot of deeper studies about what might have happened with Ham going in and uncovering his father's nakedness. Some feel that he took the coat of many colors, the same coat that they get back that's given to Joseph.
What do you mean? But I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ancient texts that talk about these moments. But
Right,
yeah.
what about the coat of many colors?
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of studies that go into deeper detail of what might have happened here with Ham going and covering his father's nakedness. And so it's a different study for a different time. But I believe, if I am correct, that gets us all the way to chapter 10. So we just did 4 chapters, and start back the next one after that, chapter 10. Aramaic and Palestinian Targum.